Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Yeah, it's often been said that we need to have boundaries in our lives. We need to put them up there. That's our standards. That's our values. And that's how we pilot. And a lot of times we compromise those boundaries for a number of different reasons. How do you know when you're doing it? How do you even get to that point where you're not going to compromise your boundaries? Back to square one. How do we even set said boundaries? Let's dig into that today. This is important stuff. Like it sounds like, well, it's kind of basic, or how important could that be? I believe it's pretty much everything in many regards in terms of how people treat you, what you engage in, and all of that. We're going to get some deep insight from our psychotherapist, who is just amazing. I love our conversations when we get together with Susie Engel, who's back on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Steve. I'm so happy to be here. And how are you?
I'm really good. Really good.
Good. Yeah.
I learned the boundaries thing, like truly learned it, I want to say about 5 years ago. Do I compromise them sometimes? Yes. Am I getting better at not letting that happen? I'm going to say yes. But How about we go basic here for a moment? What are boundaries and how do we set them?
Yeah, so I think that boundaries might parallel development of ourselves. So if we're developing knowledge about ourselves through experience, through good experiences, maybe traumatic experiences, maybe failures or mistakes in life, which are not necessarily trauma, but they're just natural experiences that I think the modern society really is phobic about. If we're parallel developing, I'm beginning to know myself through my experiences and relationship with others, then boundaries start developing. We start realizing, what do I like? What do I dislike? Where is all this coming from? What feels right? So the development of self, which is really the direction I'm going in at the beginning of this conversation, not planned, but just here right now, is, can I trust myself? Do I go inward enough to experience what feels right and what does not feel okay? And to me, that's beautiful information to start knowing ourselves and our boundaries. Because if we know like something just doesn't feel right about a certain situation, and we're 5 years old and we excuse ourselves and go home, we might save ourselves a lot of problems. But if we're just people pleasing or in a not plugged in or alert as a youngster, we might just go with it, go with the flow, and find ourselves in a situation that could be traumatizing or in a mitigated way unpleasant. But it's very interesting, right? So
It is.
does that make sense?
It really does. And what if you're at the point, now you're an adult,
Yes.
maybe you put the boundaries up, you figured some of this out, but does boundaries also mean that, let's say you have a group of friends or let's say you're part of a club, you join, maybe you hang with some, seems right. But then one day you just turn around and say, that doesn't fit me anymore. Yeah, it did. That maybe they changed, the people, and now it doesn't fit me. Does that also come under the category of boundaries, where you say, "Yeah, I'm gonna bow out, or I'm gonna take some time away from said situation," whether it's a group of people, a person, a club, or organization, or whatever it might be? That's boundaries.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, listen, it might be a shift in boundaries, but I think that if boundaries directly, like the development of my empowerment to set a boundary for my well-being, if that is directly related to my trusting myself, then if I've outgrown this group of people, or if I'm plugging in a little deeply to myself and I'm not enjoying my time or feeling like my time is well spent with this group of people, then calling it is a good thing. Or maybe these people have changed. For the most part, we're changing. And sometimes that's just a natural part of our lives. We outgrow friendships, we outgrow a lot of things when we're continuing on our personal development.
How do you know when it's time to go? What's that feeling? How do you process that? And how do you know it's really genuine, or maybe you're not 100% sure?
Yeah. So, I mean, so again, this is going to be about, am I secure within myself? So if I can give a personal example.
Sure.
I was on a tennis team this year, and I was on it last year. I was on two teams last year. One was 20 and older, and I think I'm not allowed to be on a 20 or older because of my age. But then the other one was a 40 and older. I know I'm eligible for the 40 and older, but
Are you sure? Mentally or physically or age?
well, both. Well, I mean, either could be shaky, but I know that I'm not too old for the 40 and older because I don't know what else is above that. But the second year into the 40 and older team, I just I gave it a go. I went to as many practices as I could go to, team practices with the coach they assigned to us. I tried to engage with people. If there was a social with the team, I would show up, even if I was limited in time because of work. And then in a short period of time, I was just very sure that I was not going to continue to be involved. Did I quit the team? I didn't need to, but I didn't partake in anything after a short period of time because I did not find this group of people pleasant to be with. I didn't find myself at ease socializing. I didn't have that much to share. If I don't have that much to share, like we've really got a problem because I'm like pretty much comfortable wherever I go and open wherever I go, whether it's on the court or off the court, I'm okay. So I just knew that it was a lot of negativity and it seemed like a lot of judgment. And if we know ourselves and we're taught to trust ourselves, we should just call it because there's no point in spending time when we'd rather spend time doing something else that's more enjoyable.
Is it a product of you get to a point where when it's time to go? Like you feel it, you try to make it fit, but it's the proverbial, square peg, round hole. It's just like, no, it's not working, but I wanted to, and I don't want to be a quitter, let's just say,
Yeah.
or walk away from friendship or whatever, but you're feeling it in your core, like, no, this is not working. It just doesn't. I wanted to badly, but it's not working. Is it, you get to that point where you just know?
Yeah, and I think like what's coming to me with this part of the conversation is if we're developing our sense of ourselves and at the same time we're developing what it is to set boundaries, like even in elementary school, middle school, high school, and then into adulthood, we may have ups and downs around that because that's just natural. What maybe there's a common thread to this is it's about connection. If I'm not
Mm.
feeling like I connect with a group of people, this tennis team, for sure. Like I did not connect with them. They're not my type of people. Whatever that is, it's not because they're at fault for any reason, but if I don't feel connection,
Hmm.
what am I doing? Because life is about connecting. And even if I'm doing an individual activity, just an individual activity, whether it's art or cooking whatever it is, gardening, I don't know, reading a book, learning something new about my profession. If I am not connecting with it, I have to be aware of that. And I have to understand what's going on. For me, everything is about connection. And if I'm not connecting with my own boundaries, I do not feel healthy.
You know, that's a great word, connection, because you could feel disconnected, as it seems like you did. And in this situation, did you come to the point where, okay, I could hang out with this tennis team that I feel disconnected from, I could try it again, or I'd rather just go read a book, or I'd rather go cook a new recipe. That would bring me more joy, maybe connection with oneself, than hanging out with 15 people that you feel disconnected from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't see, when you brought up that part of the conversation, when you know, you just know when you know. It's all about that. To me, it's all about that. Like I know how to be true to myself. I know with clients how to help them get to that point. And I think you got to that point through whatever journey you took over 5 years ago. And I think that's fantastic. I just think it's fantastic if we can all, like, if the whole world can kind of get into some sort of groove about that on an individual level, so that on a communal level, we can relate to each other no matter what we're doing, or we can call it. I don't even think it's quitting. I just think it's being in tune to myself. And what does that mean? That means that when I was growing up, there were the proper people in tuned or attuned to me when I was growing up. So it wasn't a slow go about stuff like that. It was kind of like, I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And I happen to have a lot of interests. And I remember this one mentor of mine said, "That's your problem. You like practically everything you do." And his wife jammed her elbow into him. It was like, how could that be a problem? And even your body language.
Come on. Most people would love to love or like everything that they do.
Yeah, or mostly everything, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the thing about the tennis team too is I have lots of options. I have other people I can practice and hit with. I have other clinics. I could join a different team that has a different culture, or I can do something individually that gratifies me. So that's a lot of empowerment. So I think what were we talking about at the beginning? Compromising our boundaries is not for me, if I could get a message across, is probably not adaptive. But being able to assess what is going on, if I am compromising is this like some sort of, do I have to reassess myself? Is this about me or is this about the patient? And that's a very clear question for us to be able to answer at some point. It's not so confusing. It's the people who always think it's me, I'm the problem. They're the ones who need to work through their personal stuff so they can break through from that. They're shackled by that. They're held back by that.
And that is I think, somewhat of a valid exploration. Let's say that's not working for you, and this thing over here doesn't feel right anymore. Then you go inward. It's like, all right, well, maybe it's me, but I don't think it is. And I approached this in January, February, where I had a couple of interests with somebody and bailed on them in short time. And this person said to me, "You know what I'm noticing? I'm noticing a pattern of you quitting when things get a little rough." And my feathers don't get ruffled. Yeah. Often. I just go with the flow. This is me, low key, cheat. But when they said that, I said, "No, you are incorrect. The difference is now I end things sooner than just compromising my boundaries and just writing it out. Well, it'll get better. I feel bad, quitting because of No, it was with this individual that we started something right away. It wasn't what we thought it was going to be. It wasn't working right. So I could have, well, let's go a little bit longer. I said, hey, you can keep going. Here's the ball. Run. Go. You run down that field.
Yeah.
Have at it. It's like, no, I'm not doing it. It's not working for me. And it was also, I used to work out with this person, and we started a new thing here, going to the gym, and they would always talk nonstop.
Yeah.
And actually throw other and negative about other people. And after about a month, every time I would go, I feel like, oh, I'm drained. Like, what? Oh, that's why I feel drained. I came here to work out, and this is blah, 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 blah. So I said, yeah, you know what? You talk a lot. Love you, but you talk a lot. I can't do that. I'm here to work out. So I didn't quit. I just see it for what it was and then moved on in another direction.
Yeah. And I think, well, first of all, it's very negative and immature for somebody to be gossiping about other people. That right there will make it very difficult to lift weights. Like the weights will be like 2 tons just because that energy is so immature, negative, judgmental. But also the way the guy was like, you know what, like with my mentor, you know what your problem is? You have so many, everything you do, practically everything you do, you really enjoy. Like, and then this guy is telling you, you know what your problem is? You when things get a little difficult, you quit. Well, that's just so condescending, because what you're saying is, no, I'm assessing the situation and it's not a good fit, or it's not productive for me, or it's not in alignment with my values, my standards, and boundaries, right? You mentioned those 2 other words at the beginning of our discussion today. And so let's just point out this, because this could be another podcast for next week, is this guy, when you ended it, this guy got defensive and criticized you as a person. And that's what people do when they don't have the capacity to look at themselves or to just appreciate live and let live. And it's fine with me. I appreciate the time we gave it a go. And by January, February, it's over. Instead, he got defensive and had to say, oh, you know what your pattern is? I'll tell you what your pattern is. When the going gets tough, you bail. That is just very curious to me. And that is another discussion for us. I should write it down so I don't forget by next week.
Well, you said the words, write it down. So I was thinking that in those situations where you're trying to process if this is working anymore, should you write it down, like the pros and the con columns, and just look at it and say, you know what, the scale is tipped? No?
You know why?
Why?
This is just me. I mean, of course, anybody can write it down. It's a beautiful technique. But for me, if I were to sit down and write down pros and cons, I'm right here in this itty bitty part of my body, my left brain. I'm just comparing. But if I scan all of me, if I recollect and replay certain experiences, I get gut feeling. I get a whole body feeling. That's this whole brain body working. That's why I do not do pros and cons, and I never would recommend that. But I have people who do pros and cons, and if it helps them, that's good for them. It's not my place to say never.
So I'm going to agree with you. And I'm a big proponent of writing things down, because our brains are usually like scattered all over the place, and you want clarity, and you want to process it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you get to that point where you feel it, and you feel it again, and you feel it again, and it doesn't feel right, you have your answer.
Yes. And so we're talking about our bodies carry great information. our emotions, even if we're feeling 6 emotions at the same time, it doesn't mean we don't have clarity. It just means that that's the layered depth of this experience. And what are these emotions informing me of? And that is part of our neurosystem.
Yeah.
And it's not just one side of our brain that's like functioning to say what's good about this and what's bad about this. I say this almost every time we talk about things. It's like nothing is binary. So what do? We glean from our body awareness, our emotional awareness, and our intelligence of ourselves.
Well, you answered it again. Well, I said it before. You get to a point where you just know when it's time to go, and you just did it again. Trust. And I was trying to take that extra step. Well, just write it down. So this is me saying, this is me not quitting. This is me saying, well, I'm going to just write it down and then I'll look at it and maybe I'll see it in a different way and then hang on a little bit longer because maybe I'm missing something. No.
Yeah.
When you know and you trust and you listen to your body and the feelings, you blank and know. That's it.
Yes, for sure. And the thing about this is, there is something very good about that urge to write it down because you're saying, be tenacious, keep at it. And that's a silver lining, but put that toward other things. Like if I'm learning a new strategy about tennis, or I'm invited to a golf fundraiser, so I'll brush up on golf. Be tenacious about that.
Well, that's a great point too. Instead of putting your energy into hanging on to something that, again, back to the beginning, that doesn't fit you, and now you're compromising your boundaries. Take that energy and effort and put that into something else.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so fascinating, right?
It really is. But you got to get to that point where like many of us don't. I was one of those people. I'm going to say this. You always know. You do. But
it's just that your defense is say, don't look, don't look, don't look.
Right. You want to deny it because it sounds negative too. I'm going to quit this thing. Well, let me just look at this again. And then another week and then another week and then another week. But you knew from the beginning, probably the things were changing when they were, but you want to ignore it.
And we don't mean, to say that is not to say that in a shaming way. It's just become more awake or alert about yourself. That's all. And that's how you do it. Suffer enough in enough unpleasant situations.
Yeah.
And we'll be very motivated to get conscious about what's unconsciously defending us from looking.
Or stay in situations longer. And then you look back and say, I probably should have quit sooner than that. But that's what I'm doing. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Why keep going? I know it doesn't feel right. This is
good. Yeah.
As always, great conversation. This is what you do. Like you are the mirror sometimes because you held it up to me. Here I am saying, I don't quit, but let me try this again a little bit. No, you're making me realize, the answer. We all know the answer. It's there. You got to trust the answer.
Trust us.
Ooh, SusanEngel-LCSW.com is how we reach you. Yeah. This is what you do. You got questions about life, your boundaries, whether something still supports you and you can't make that decision, you're there. Like you are today. Fantastic. Always love talking with you. It's like you
likewise.
You have an interesting way of presenting things in a very positive way. And you're not just telling people what they want to hear. No. You're giving a different view. Yeah.
My clients really appreciate that.
As do I.
It's like this nudge. Oh, I never thought of it that way. Oh, so my perspective is broadening. I never thought of it that way either, but between the two of us, never know. No.
Thank you so much.
Things.
We'll talk soon, okay? Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.